Welcome to the People's Guild.
Each week we explore the Splinterland universe with guests from all across the mythical land of Praetoria.
Join us on our journey as we discuss the evolution of the game, the strategy, the lore, and the exciting path that lies ahead.
To support the People's Guild, make sure you subscribe, rate, and review wherever you get your podcasts, and also check us out on PeakD, YouTube, and Twitter.
To send your questions, suggestions, and epic battles in our comments through Twitter or email at thepeoplesguildspl@gmail.com. We'll feature the best in our episodes and maybe airdrop you some prizes. Thanks for tuning in and enjoy the show.
Welcome back to the People's Guild. Another week, another episode, another great guest, our good buddy, the most polarizing figure in Splinterlands. He continues to live up to the name, Kawanashi, none other than Azircon himself. Welcome back to the People's Guild, AZ. Always good hanging out. Our once and future TikTok star of Praetoria.
Yeah, thanks for having me again. So, what choice do you have?
Hey, man, we always got a choice, but we love having you. We love getting your opinion, your take on stuff. Of course, you've been a great supporter of the People's Guild and what we're doing here. So always happy to make time for you, man. So let's kick it off with what's cooking in your mind at the moment, AZ. Where are you thinking about things, and what are you liking? What are you concerned about?
There is a whole bunch of different things, and the way I'm going to start. So ask me controversial questions. So that is your job, both of yours, today. So ask me tough questions. I do not hesitate to give tough answers. So that's the main point. So in just to kick things started, I'm looking to fill my wagons in Splinterland. So that is happening in a couple of days. Tomorrow, day after tomorrow, I think.
Yep, Tuesday.
Midday tomorrow, day after tomorrow. So yeah, and regarding Hive, I'm trying to get people energized to contribute more, to post more. We have a lot of idle VP waiting to vote you. So, just use it as your journal. That would be my recommendation. Keep it interesting.
Okay. Jimmy, you're always one for a controversial question and incoming wall of text. I feel like you got something. I feel like you got something written down there. Let's kick it off with you, dude.
Well, I was going to start with one of the hardest questions of all time that people are always talking about, debating, arguing. Tastes great or less filling? Where are you at on that Azircon?
Oh, are we talking about pickle?
We could be. We could. That was a ridiculous question. I just figured I'd start that way, but controversial question. Let's see. Okay, I don't have one prepared.
I got one. Okay.
I'm sure.
So this is something that Jimmy, you and I have talked about. I've talked with a couple of buddies in the TPG circle with the past couple of weeks, and I feel like it's come to a little bit of a head. So a couple of things. I had no idea, and this is the first time in a long time I did not realize that end of season was upon us. Usually it's something to celebrate. It's a lot of fun. Everybody's like comparing, how'd you land up on the ranked leaderboard and what kind of chests are you pulling? I just didn't care. And I feel like that is a failure on the game maker's behalf. My number one question would be to Matt, do you play the game? and how often are you investing time in actually having fun like an average player interacting with Splinterlands? My gut reaction is he doesn't play at all. That would be my assumption.
Very
Let's
little would be my assumption.
Okay. So controversial question to you, AZ. Is that acceptable? I feel like with Dave coming on and inheriting a lot of the, behind the scenes grunt work, I mean, we all three of us here have a close relationship with Dave. We know how tireless this guy is. He's 100% committed to seeing this thing successful. And, I think we've all been, had a little bit of a peek behind the curtains in terms of what is the day-to-day stuff that Dave actually accomplishes and puts his mind to, and there's a whole lot of it. So my next question is, now that Matt has relieved himself of all of this stuff, where is the game maker's eyes and fingerprints on the game?
Right. So again, that would be a question for him, and I do not want to speculate. But I think what you are getting at is should he or should not he? And that, from my point of view, that is a slippery slope that I do not want to walk, and I would caution other people to walk that slope also. And my reasoning is a game maker doesn't have to play the game 6 hours a day. I mean, it is great if he plays the game 1 hour a day. If it is great if he plays it 2 hours a day, but it is not a requirement in my mind. It's not that he doesn't know how to play the game. He does, and that's from my point of view is not an issue. What the issue should be is how innovative he is in trying to do new things for the game. That's his job description. That's the job description for the game maker, right? Game maker makes the game. So, and I do not have full visibility on what's exactly going on right there. And we can ask around and we can find out. That's not an issue from my point of view. But I think what you are alluding to, that a lot of things sometimes for a lot of us feel stagnant because, sort of the only thing the game can do these days is to make a new pack and sell a set of new cards. They're pretty good at it, and they do it for a long time. It is a card game. That's their main thing that they do. But as a player, since you are playing that game, the same game style for a very long time, it might feel for you that not much been happening. So I think that's where you are going at.
Well, for kicking things off, asking for a very controversial question, AZ, you sure walked the line there in terms of delivering a middle of the road response. I feel like it is Matt's absolute responsibility to keep the game fresh, exciting. The last adjective that any of us should ever use to describe Splinterlands is stale. And the excitement coming in off of and don't get me wrong, I'm very happy with Conclave Arcana. I think Modern is more fun than it has ever been. I still continue to feel that way, but just as an example, and this is something I don't think should ever happen. I had 5 matches in a row, all neutral only rule sets.
Whoa.
Your favorite.
Five in a row, all in one. Like this was, within 25 minutes. It's not like I left and came back and left and came back. It was consecutive matches with the same, and little things like that. I feel like go a really long way to keeping things fresh and exciting. And I would just ask, I don't like you, AZ. I'm happy to say I don't know what a reasonable expectation of investment of time in playing the game for Matt or whomever it is designing the game is, but I think there is a baseline expectation. And at the end of the day, it's his responsibility to design the game. And I feel like I would throw down that gauntlet for Matt to actually engage. Why is end of season not exciting anymore? Why do I just log in and claim my glint and continue on? Why?
But you realize that it is not exciting because there is nothing new that is happening, right? The end of season, the same thing happens for a very long time, and you get a number that pops up, that much glint you got, you already probably max or near max all your reward cards anyway, so there is nothing special going on there. And honestly, what is there to see? Like, the only new mode that is going on is survival. I don't know if you have seen the survival end of the season ratings. Um, that's what,
They're
yeah.
out of control.
So,
They're out of control.
right. So, for example, the funny thing is, I forwarded that, I raised that at the very last moment, and they have taken some action. But the point is, the point I always ask, why is it that I have to ask the question and then the action would be taken? The action can be preemptive, right? And
Yeah.
I completely understand that we are trying different things. And I have no complaints. This is not a complaint. Rating inflation has happened. It's ridiculous. Whatever we are doing, using bots, their teams, it's not optimized. So that is creating a rating inflation. There was a problem before. That's why we stopped the mode. We started the mode again, and we were already. I was convinced. I can speak for myself. I was convinced that the solution has not been reached. But what would we do? We need to try it again and try it one more time and try it one more time until we get it fixed. So right now it is not fixed. So we'll see how long it takes to get it fixed. So that's the take on it. And again, that's just the newest mode, right? All the other mode remains the same, which is your point, BJ, and therefore it's not exciting. And the other reason it was exciting back then at some point in time, like when you would get, SPS reward. Before that, you were going to get DC reward. The prices are not good. The SPS prices are not good. If you double the price, you'll see the excitement come back. It is very price related. A lot of it is price related. So, when the prices are higher, you'll see people will feel excitement because, they can see they're doing something meaningful that is giving them a financial benefit, and people like that.
I'd say it's also engagement related too.
Yes.
The reward cards are stale. Everyone's been maxed out for a long time. There's nothing to look forward to at the end of the season. It's
Yeah.
not like, but you used to just get chests and you could at least be
Yeah.
like, all right, let's see, boom, gold foil legendary. I'm going to turn that into another, Conclave Arc. I'm going to sell that and buy a Conclave Arcana card I need. Those
Yeah.
days are gone. So there's no.
But even if let's say, okay, we are maxed out, this reward card is going on for a while. So what is going to happen next? We are going to get a new set of reward cards, right? But it is still another set of reward card, and we're going to grind that, and we're going to max it soon enough, and then that's that, right? This thing can get old pretty quickly.
That's my point. Is
Yeah.
it feels like we need some, and this isn't to say, I still log in, I play my battles just about every day. I really enjoy the social element. I love, coming up against buddies and talking some smack before and after, and, matching strategies and talking. Like, I still love all of that stuff. But I feel like we are at a point where we need a little bit of a fresh injection of some new innovation into how we are engaging with the game.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that.
We've been waiting for new rule sets for months, And I feel like we talked about this at length over the last couple of episodes. I feel like that's such low hanging fruit to keep things fresh and exciting and new and highlight different cards and show different strengths of different metas. And I feel like that's a failure of Yaba not engaging and playing the game. So yeah, I just wanted to get that out there. I feel like I feel like it's
absolutely,
a fair
absolutely. I
assessment.
think it's a fair assessment. It's a fair assessment because, as a game players, we will always expect more, right? That is just like it is Matt's job to deliver. It is our job to expect, and that's how a game is played. So this will always going to be a topic from our end, and that other thing, like doing the delivery, would always going to be a topic from Matt's end. And we meet somewhere in the middle, and whether it is middle or is it lopsided one way or the other, that's what we are discussing right now.
And I would love to see, since you kind of brought this up as, Matt playing the game. I know for a fact, many of us know that most of the team members do play the game, like actually play the game. Many of the team members, I could say at least. I don't know if they do this at all, but I know they've, recently been doing like meetings. They had a great meeting where they asked everyone, what do you what do you consider the top things we should be looking at working on? And it was input from the whole team. Everyone got to contribute. They discussed and they, decided what to focus on next. That was great. I would love to see, I don't know if they do this or not, but if they don't, like team meetings about the game, since almost everyone plays the game and probably everyone should, say, okay, game meeting. What are your sticking points? What do you like? What do you not like? What is disengaging? What makes you engage? And just have the team actually talk about the game itself.
Yeah.
That could be.
So next time you guys get Matt here, do a few challenge with him and let's see how he defends himself. So you are a pretty good player, BJ. So, give him some smack. I think that would be good.
All right, we will.
Yeah.
So on this note, and I found this pretty interesting. I don't know what I expected, but I certainly didn't expect as much of a disparity as we saw. I think both of you guys, myself included, participated in Nate's UX poll, and the question was,
Yes.
what most accurately describes your interest and play style for ranked play? Nate made it very clear you're only able to choose one. Options are gamer,
Yeah.
grinder, idle, or ROI. I think I
What's the
expected
final number there?
71% selected gamer. And
Yes, I
it's a
selected
decent number
gamer
of votes.
myself.
I did too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I found that pretty surprising. I would guess that most folks that fall into idle or ROI, I kind of feel like those are, two sides of the same coin. They probably aren't involved in Discord as regularly as folks like the three of us here. But I did find that percentage, 70 plus percent, the vast majority are saying that they're gamers. And I was pleasantly surprised to see that. And I feel like
that's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Yeah.
that's us not necessarily focusing, like ROI sure is part of it. We're in Web3, we're playing a crypto game. Sure. The idle stuff is okay. I mean, that's land, that's, a bot running your account. That's, those things. And I think we all participate via being an idle game in our own way. But at the end of the day, our first choice of how we self-identify is as a gamer. I play the game, I watch the matches, I enjoy the social elements.
Yeah. So, I was not surprised. You were surprised. I was not surprised. I mean, and my point is I expected that because most people who are on Discord, they're gamer. That's why they're on Discord, right? And they are the people who are polling. The people who are kind of passive, playing the LAN game, they're less active on Discord and things like that. So and they are just the sheer number of them who are active is going to be small anyway. But you got to think about the other element of it. It's still only 70 people who actually participated in the poll. Why only 70? I wanted 700, right?
Mm.
So that's the other side of the coin, right? So the sheer
Well, I
number
mean,
is not very high.
yes, I agree. But to be fair, it was tucked away and it
Yes.
wasn't put on Tavern. It wasn't announced as an
Yeah.
official announcement. It
I
was
didn't see it.
you had yeah. You
Yes.
you you pretty
Yes.
much had to look for it. It wasn't.
Yeah. And it was mentioned once in Tavern, and that's how I was there at that time. Otherwise, I would have missed it myself. UX page, it should not be running. Any kind of poll should not be running on UX page. That's a failure from, I would not say Nate. It should have been Royale who should put it in the tavern, right? So run it in the tavern. That, I mean, if you are trying to poll Discord people, that's where you get the maximum number of people. It was just a small fail. It's no big deal. But I mean, I think the number could have been much more
Yeah.
higher.
I mean, it's
Well,
kind of eye-opening too. Like the fact that let's just say that, I mean, that's polls are always like that. You take a sample and then you kind of extrapolate that into a larger population. I think at a 70%, it's pretty fair to say the majority of Splinterlands participants are gamers.
Yes.
Either
Yes.
current or previous, who are kind of getting back into it. Um, that says a lot about where to focus, what to do, potential demographics that
Yeah.
we focus on. I still really, really, really think our biggest chance of success is if we can get Magic the Gathering players to think of us as a digital, shorter, faster, more exciting version of their game. We're golden. Like if we can
Yeah,
tap
we
into
are, but we just ain't have the depth, right? Compared to the depth of Magic, we don't have the depth.
That's where the items and spells come by too. And this is
Yeah.
another thing. We're thinking things are, get stale. We need at least like let's start seeing some things like that are going to help in the game. We have tactics, even if it's one item that we can craft and start using,
Exactly.
and
So that's the reason, Jimmy, I'm pushing so hard on land, and that is items and spells comes from land, and if we don't deliver quickly on that front, time is running out, right? So
yeah,
we have a big flow chart, but we are trying to cut. I do not want to say trying to cut corners, but we are trying to get some short-term item presented in front of the people so that the people can participate. I think these are all good effort, but we just need more of them and we need them quick, right? So
we're
essentially,
not cutting corners, optimizing and
yeah,
making things way more efficient and effective. Because honestly,
yes.
that flow chart, if we have to wait till the end of that, we're not seeing it in our lifetime.
No, that is not really achievable. That,
Yeah.
when you do something and we have one developer, we have to set ourselves up for success. That flowchart with one developer set ourselves up for failure. So I'm just going to
Yeah.
give it very straight. So that's the way it is. It's just not possible in 1 or 2 years to deliver that entire flowchart. So we
And
got
that
to do
developer
something.
has said as much in
Yeah.
publicly in the land chat. That developer said,
Yeah.
there's no way I can do that,
Yeah.
deliver this myself in any type of reasonable time frame. It's just way
Right.
too
So
difficult.
we got to at some point in time we got to revisit that flowchart, and that flowchart is created by Matt. So I would say that is one of his responsibility to revisit that flowchart. That flowchart is just a chart, right? It's not delivered yet. It's not even started worked yet. So, you need to get back onto it and shorten it so that it is manageable in a reasonable amount of time. And a reasonable amount of time for me is a year. If it is not, if it is, if something cannot be delivered in a year, it should not be on a chart. It can be in your diary, it can be in your journal. If you cannot deliver it in a year, you should not be publicly releasing a chart. It's not practical. I mean, and anything land is multi-years delayed. So there is an opportunity here that can be easily fixed. And all I'm talking about, I'm not talking about the work. I'm talking about a work program. Why you publish a work program that you cannot deliver? Because if you publish a work program that you cannot deliver, you are setting yourself up for failure. And you should never set yourself up for failure. You always should set yourself up for success.
Well, you can always iterate and make things more dynamic down the stretch. Simplifying and delivering is the
I can
ultimate
take that
goal,
chart,
in my opinion.
I can take that flow chart, I can cut it in half. I can cut it in half and publish that. That would be something better than what we have now.
Yep.
Right? We have 50 resources and this numerous, direction that things are going. A lot of that makes very little sense. So,
Lazy, how are you going to get your mooncakes, dude? You got to get your mooncakes.
Right. And don't forget about, what is that thing called? Ethereum or whatever it is, Ethereal. Yeah, there are all kinds of nonsense there. So, it's pie in the sky.
Desalinized.
I'm a practical guy.
Well, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's overly complicated for, the sake of Matt kind of, I understand, maybe Matt wanting to do exactly what you alluded to in journaling. What is his 10-year vision for land? That's great.
Yeah.
If he's got the next 10 years planned and plotted out and, it's a long-term goal to work to that will ultimately make lands, really compelling and a very substantial contributor to the Splinterlands economy. Wonderful. But in the meantime, and in the short term, especially given that land is 5 years late, I think we've got to think about, what does the next 6-12 months look like?
And see, for me, land being 5 years late is a secondary issue at this point, because the other thing I always say, point forward, right? You cannot think about what happened in the past for a very long time. It is okay to reflect, but you cannot dwell on it. It's point forward. So you got to think about point forward is what? You have this several resources, 5 resources on land, and you are creating other resources that are dependent on these resources. So, you have to think about one person buying a single plot of land. A single plot of land is $20. You are going to put $50 worth of DAC staked to power that land. Then you are going to buy $20 worth of 5 times 5, $25, or 5 times 4, $20 worth of card, which is common reward card that you are going to put on the land. You're going to buy a power cord, that's $10. So now we are talking 20 plus 50 plus 10, 70 plus 20. We're talking about $90. So one person spent $90 on the land putting some common reward card. What are they getting? They're getting 121 grains per hour. Out of that, they pay 71 grains for taxes. So 121 minus 71, you do the math, that's 50. So 50 grains per hour. You can go to Beaker's webpage, and you can see that is probably 2 DC or 0.2 DC per hour, equates to 7 DC per day. So Vaktis will say to you, there is still ROI, agree, there is still ROI. However, that is not going to excite anybody. So, but if you double the price, if you triple the price, now you're beginning to talk, right? Now you are beginning to talk. So how you do that? The only way you can do that is a supply demand thing. Land is a finite resources. There is a finite number of plot. You got to make things rare. If you make things rare, prices go up, and that's what we have been doing, right? That we created Midnight Potion. You saw the resource prices go up. We now created this wagon repair kit. You saw resource prices go up. The point about it is you got to constantly do it. See, we did the Midnight Potion, and then Conclave Arcana pack opening was over in 1 week or 2 weeks. Majority of the pack was opened in the first week, and then it is done. So therefore, you don't need Midnight Potions anymore, not as many. So therefore, you don't make them. Therefore, the price goes down. Therefore, all the resource prices goes down. So my point is, you got to keep these things one after the other, one on top of the other, in order to make the resources rare. Only then the price will rally.
Yeah.
And I would also argue that you want to give, like, I almost feel like the wagons thing was just looking for something to do. Like they created something that wasn't exciting, and it wasn't, you don't need it. Like these items and spells, you want them to need it in battle. Midnight Potions, you need, like you say, hey, it's a big, difference, doubling your chances of a black foil. I don't want to see like things created just for the sake of needing to burn through tokens. I feel that's what wagon repair kits are. I want to see actual utility, things that people are excited about. I want to see when an announcement is dropped saying, hey, here's a new thing we're putting out that you're going to be able to build from land. I don't want to see outrage. I was shocked. I mean, I was skeptical of it. I knew it was coming. I wasn't too psyched. I stayed quiet, but I was shocked at the literal outrage that I saw from the community. I want to see excitement. I think what the goal should be is that when anything is announced like that, the general consensus is most people are totally stoked.
So
and it goes
items
down,
and spell, you want items and
well, not even just that, like anything, items and spells. After Sound had a great idea for an expendable zero mana card to do. He had that idea like 2 years ago or something. Anything that people are excited to engage in, and the guy with one plot benefits from. Even if you can't make it with one plot, you say, shit, my wood plot, the wood went up. So that's awesome. Now the DEC I'm getting by selling my wood just went up a little bit. That allows me to buy more cards to play the game,
Yeah.
I just want to see the approach focus on that, as opposed to saying, what can we make that will force people to, use land resources?
Right.
And
So, in a way, in other words, if I can rephrase you, Jimmy, what you are saying, that approach of wagon is essentially a cop-out, right? It's an easy way out to get some resources that, people are force people to use some resources for a product that, kind of out there, that doesn't really, nobody needs it. You created it so that people are forced to require it. You are not excited about a wagon. I mean, why would you be excited about a wagon, right? A wagon doesn't do anything, right? So, and you already have wagon.
Hold on. Let me interject. I completely disagree. I think the wagon should be exciting. It gives you access to a very badass card.
Yes, I get it, but you already have it.
Well, correct, but I think the concept of wagons when it came out, it was exciting, and I think the application of conflicts and wagons, if it was offered outside of conflict airdrops only, I think it would be exciting. So I think I just wanted to interject. I do think
no.
I think excusing wagons from being something that should be exciting is the wrong.
No, I agree with you.
Be exciting.
When wagon first came out during the rebellion, I think it was a stroke of genius, and the simple reason being, before that, people would just recycle pack over and over again to get airdrop cards, right? So essentially, we are going to print a lot of cards, a lot of airdrop cards, and we flood the market. Wagons, the rebellion conflict, first time stopped that. And yet, till today, rebellion cards hold their value because of that. So, no,
Well,
I mean,
I
your
would
point
also
is,
semantics here, but I wouldn't say wagons stop that. I would say staking cards stop that. And
yes,
from looking
taking cards
at
stop
NFT
that.
projects for years, they always like staking cards has been part of NS. I think that the concept was brilliant. Yes, we had to stop the
Yeah.
pack cycle. That wasn't good. It was fixed by staking cards, which is awesome. But again,
Yeah.
we need to do something with vouchers, and they created wagons that you had to buy with vouchers to stake your cards on them to get that.
Yeah.
So it wasn't necessarily wagons themselves that do this. And
That is also true. That
I
is
would say
also
with
true.
semantic, right now, wagons don't give you access to the airdrop. They gate access to the airdrop for some people who might want to just say, I'm going to see if I can roll the dice on one card. I'm going to stake all of my cards and just see if I get anything. If I have that 1 in 1,000 chance for a guy who's playing bronze, that'd be great. But he's not going to do that, because you're asking him to buy a pretty big lotto ticket for a very small chance.
Yes.
So I would say that wagons gate access.
So, there are two things here. Actually, there are more than two things here. So, staking cards, where do you stake cards? Do you need to buy your way in to stake cards? So these are all separate element, and you can answer them separately. Together, it solves the economy in a way, the card economy of that particular edition. Together they do. But, just by itself, the wagon itself, it doesn't have that luster, right? Because it's not a new thing anymore. We already have them, first of all. And, now we are going to have to pay for it and I will happily pay for it. That's not, but I am not the customer. I'm not the average customer, right? So I cannot just speak for myself all the time. So, and I recognize both of your points. So I guess that's the solution, the potential solution can be to make something. And if items and spells, if it is just one spell, if it is just one card, a spell can be like a potion, right? You use that potion, use that object. You do not have to call it potion. You can call it whatever you want to call it. And you use that object to get something that is unique and that you can use in the game. Now, if it is items and spell, and if you look at the mechanics of it, it is many, many, many steps away. It is years away. So unless we create a shortcut, we are not going to items and spell anytime soon. So that is the hindrance for that mechanism. But what we can do, we can create some kind of a potion-like object, and you can use that object to modify certain amount of gameplay, certain amount of spell, a particular ability in the card. We can do a whole bunch of different things. But that different things, whatever that element is, and it doesn't have to be one element, it will bring excitement. You would want to do that. And if you want to do that, it will be exciting, and then people will happily pay for it in resources or in money, whichever way you want to say it.
Yeah. And that would require a shift of focus. Like right now, I feel like the approach is problem based. The problem is we did it with the first wave. We're doing it with the second wave. We're just putting all these tokens out there with no use case. How do we fix that? Oh, wagons. Oh, this or that. I want them to say, what can we do with these tokens? Almost like before the next wave of tokens comes out, have the tokens and have something to do with them. Right? Like be one step ahead. Don't just say, now we're doing 4 more resources, nothing to do with them. Say, here's 4 more resources, and guess what you can craft with, and then sell to players who are going to want to use it, for something.
what is interesting, I think a lot of these things we kind of oftentimes speak over one another and we never really land anywhere because, by the time it gets to Matt, by the time it gets to Dave, a lot of times have passed, right? So in my line of work, one of the two things we do frequently in large project, one is called a TCM and the other is called an MCM. A TCM is a technical committee meeting, right? So, in our case, it would be, all the hardcore gamers, all the hardcore players, and, you put 10 of them in a room, and these days we can do it in Zoom. We do not actually have to put them in a physical room. You put 10 of them in a room with a moderator. Royal can be the moderator, and they discuss, they come up with your idea, and at the end of the meeting, at the end of this 3 hour meeting, there'll be a list of items that that committee, the TCM suggested, and the CEO, CFO will have to act towards it. Then at the same time, there is going to be another meeting, that is the MCM meeting, the management committee meeting. TCM will happen before, and in the management committee meeting, you put again 10 people. Some of them are team members, some of them are external with uh, experiences in the business world, how get things done. People like me, Tofu, Vaktis. You put these people in a room, and you take all these ideas and you ask us and force us, okay, this is the money you have, this is the time you have, this is the resources you have. How do you actually execute it? And you don't let us leave the room until we come up with a solution on paper, and then we execute the solution. So we should do that. I know Dave listens to this, so and Dave is very familiar with it. Different industry have very similar. These things are very, very common in the business world. So, we should do something like this, and let's see if there is anything, if we can accelerate any of the movement, because I think we're too slow. And Dave understands that we are too slow. Dave says that to me all the time. I call him up, and the first thing he says, damn, we are slow. So, yeah.
I mean, you're essentially calling for a steering committee
Yeah, I
from
mean, there are two committees. There are two committees, one from the gaming side and one from the management side.
yeah.
And on the gaming side, there will be just one moderator from the team present. Rest are all going to be gamer. And on the management committee, there will be multiple people on the team present, and then there is going to be external people who will try and execute the suggestion that the TCM actually proposed.
That's like focus groups is something we've been calling.
That's exactly that. It is focus group.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nothing, it's not a novel concept. Every industry has them.
Yes, it's
Everybody
not
uses
new.
it. Nothing new. This is an age-old concept. Everybody uses it. It's just, I haven't seen it happening in Splinterland, and it should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the first iteration that we've seen something like this is, at least publicly, is the user testing for CA. And
Yeah.
I think it not to pat ourselves on the back, but I think we did a pretty damn good job. I think that, things ended up, really well polished and balanced. And there's no reason why that sort of outcome would not extend to, greater game-wide conversations as well.
Yeah.
It feels like a no-brainer. Easy win.
Yeah. Easy
And the
win, and
feedback-
it doesn't cost you anything. Doesn't cost you anything other than time and organization. That's easy. I mean, people will do it for free, right? Organize a meeting with 10 people. There's no big deal. I mean, we do it all the time.
Well, we've got three community members here. Let's do a quick impromptu TCM on survival mode. I see some eyes lighting up on the other side of the camera here.
Well, you saw that, basically, I posted this already, so I mean, I can post
I think
it
I missed
again.
your commentary. AZ, where'd you put it? Where'd you put it?
Hang on.
Did you make a post?
No, I did not make a post. I went straight to the source because I was
Ah,
pissed. I was pissed and I went straight to the source. I'm copying you. It's very simple. So this is at that point, this is earlier in the morning. This was the status of the check your Discord.
oh
Or
yeah,
actually,
I
in
saw.
Zoom I can do this, right?
Yeah, let me give you a
In the
screen share.
Zoom,
AZ, hold on.
yeah.
There you go.
Okay. Where is the chat in here? Chat. Yes, got it. So I am just going to paste so that Jimmy can see at the same time. Unable to send file due to admin
Here,
restriction.
I'll share my screen here, AZ.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, just do the Discord, and that would be.
Yeah, you guys see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's basically, if you look at that, the screenshot I send you, Vaktis is at 35,000, and
That's
the
the
next one
rating.
is fifth rating.
The
Yes, Vaktis
So
rating is 35,000, and the next rating is 15,000, right? So
Mhm.
it's less than half, and then the next rating is 9,000, right?
Yeah.
And then the next rating is 6,000, 7,000. So things like that. Like, so these are ridiculous number. So after 7,000, you go to 35,000 with four people, right? So that's called a rating inflation, right? That's essentially means the system is not working. And the reason that rating inflation happened, and let me explain this to you, it's those bots, right? Those liquidity bots. So currently in champions, due to the liquidity issue, since there are not enough player, they have put in this liquidity bot both from Xbot and Archmage. Both these companies, and players also use them, but they made these two companies made the liquidity bot for the Splinterland, and they run them. The trouble is these liquidity bots are too weak for the hands that they're playing in champions. So when Vaktis's account, which is also an Xbot, interacts with the Xbot liquidity bot, it's a certain win. And since there is not enough player, Vaktis keep playing these liquidity bots over and over again, because I think there is a timer on it, and check it with Royal. I think it's 40 seconds. If there is no
Something like that.
participation
Yeah.
in 40 seconds, then it defaults to a liquidity bot. And most times there is no participation, so it goes to a liquidity bot, and then liquidity bot loses and Vaktis wins, and essentially Vaktis ratings inflate. And that's the mechanism. And I'm just using Vaktis because has the most strongest deck, and his number is the highest, and it should be. That's not the problem. The problem is, this is not really, then it is not really a game. It becomes a handout. If we want to, if you want to give Vakti a certain amount of SPS, we surely can. That's not an issue, just because he's he's the highest stakeholder of everything. But
You could
then
just
that is
stake
not
your
a game.
cards. You could just
Yeah.
stake your cards and have a pool
Take
for
your cards and have a pool for it.
give
Yeah.
us a
So
lot of
there is,
resources,
we don't
time,
need a
energy.
game. Yeah, we don't need a game. We don't need a game. We don't need to spend any money. So the solution, like you said, you want to do a TCM. The simplest cop out is what the next step is happening. They say, okay, we are going to make the bot stronger. That is not very exciting to me. Okay. Yes, you can make the bot stronger. And so then, now Vaktis is going to win sometimes and lose sometimes. 50% of the time, let's say, in ideal case. Um, is that a good way of survival mode, right? If survival mode has 125 players, Why do we need that mode?
So I mean that the tail end of your comment there, AZ, is exactly what kind of informs my assumption that if we were to go to a vote today, survival mode would not pass.
I would not vote for it.
I would not vote for it either.
Yeah.
And I think the flaw is, let's assume on the very small side that we have 1,500 real players in Splinterlands. If less than 10% can participate in a brand new game mode, reasonably participate, I think it's an absolute failure. I don't think there's any way around it. If we're making new game modes, it should be new game modes that every single person can participate in.
Yeah.
And we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago. Reinstate leagues on survival mode. For whichever league you choose to participate in, your cards are then subject to the max requirement and therefore cooldown that is associated with that league. All of a sudden, you're going to 10x the amount of players that can actually participate without sacrificing their deck for every single other element of gameplay, whether that be ranked tournaments, brawls, etc. The fact that we're just making it it's pretty much just copy paste what we see in ranked. Yeah, I mean it's no secret that the liquidity bots are garbage, which is a separate conversation, and I really cannot wrap my head around how they are such trash. It's not that they're just
It's trash on purpose.
well, I mean that boggles my mind.
Because it's trash on purpose, right?
It's hand finder, and they're choosing number 25 or number 30 on a list of 50, when clearly when you're coming up against Vugtis, his Xbot is choosing hand number 1 every single time.
Yes, exactly.
And they have the same cards available to them.
He has 50 hand number 1s.
Yes.
He has 50 hand number 1s. So even by any chance, by a probability, if his hand number 1 drops dead, he has the next hand number 1 and the next and so on.
for the next 25 matches at least.
Right.
Yeah.
For the next 25 matches. So my point is, if that is the case, that's not really a game. That's just card staking. So, I have no problem if, Vaktis or whoever. I mean, I'm taking Vaktis as a name for no reason.
Vugtis doesn't listen to the People's Guild. He won't get anything more than 5 minutes of
yeah, I understand. He likes to write on Discord though. I mean, he writes way too much for someone with his time commitment. So which is surprising to me. So my point is, he can stake his card, and we can allocate a reward pool for that. That's nothing. That cost us nothing at all.
We'll call a spade a spade.
Why we need
then.
a mode?
Yes. Yeah. I would agree.
A spade a spade. Yeah. So we don't need a mode. We don't need a game mode that nobody plays. And if they play, there is this kind of if it is not exciting for people. When it launched, it was for a little bit, it was exciting for people. It was exciting for you. It was exciting for me. Because, because the cards died and all of that, right? So that part is exciting. That part is exciting. But if people cannot participate, if, your idea of getting the leagues back, I think, we are trying different things. I want to try it. I want to try it before it comes into vote, because if it comes into vote without trying anything new, it is not getting my vote. Not only it is not getting my vote, I am going to campaign against it. And you know what happens when I campaign against it. It gets nasty, and it will be very hard.
Well,
it will be very hard.
But Vugtis and Tofu will pretty, if they team up and decide yes or no, they are in sync in their decisions, it's going to be very hard to overturn them. That said, I would be very surprised if either of them feel like survival mode should pass as
No,
it currently stands. They
they
both have
as
the best interest of the game and the future of the game in
exactly,
mind.
exactly.
It's not sustainable. There's nothing
No,
sustainable about the current
no.
iteration of survival.
Not at all. And again, they are both good people. They're both my friends. Why would they support something that is not like enjoyable for the masses? I mean, they are both good players. They like to play as well, both of them. And they do not like the current status of the mode either. I mean, when it was starting up, I remember the conversation. It was not public conversation, but I remember my conversation with Vaktis, and we had very long conversation. We had very long conversation most times, as you know. You talk to Vaktis a lot, so we were not happy about when we are starting it. We had a meeting with Matt, and we decided to start it because, both Dave and Matt was trying to test it. And I said, okay, you want to try to test it. But, I don't agree with these limited changes that you are implying. And Vaktis did not either. But it was a test. It was Teams, SPS. We decided to turn it on, and we did turn it on. And but clearly that did not work, and we are going to do something again now. We have 4 weeks time because we are going to reduce the rewards, so we have 4 weeks time. But I don't think 4 weeks is enough, and 4 weeks is not going to be enough time to test. Like, for example, I want to test the league thing. I want to test different leagues, bronze, silver, gold, diamond,
Yeah.
in survival, and see what it does.
I want to
And
bring
there,
it
it
back
it
to
is
life.
not going to be enough time to test in 4 weeks,
No.
Well,
because every iteration is 2 weeks, right? So this
It's too
iteration,
slow.
whatever, right?
It's too slow. A lot of things are too slow
Yeah,
here. It's just like I understand we need to look at things, you need to look at data, but you got to actually act on it and look on it, not just like, oh, maybe later. I mean, it started with guilds years ago when people said, dude, guilds inflation, the way this is working, top three guilds are going to get everything, everyone else is going to get left in the dust. And you're like,
mhm,
oh, well, we'll look at it. And then 2 years went by,
yeah.
and then that's exactly what happened. It's like there has to be
And,
a
and
sense of
two more years have gone by. Three have gone by since last we have worked on Guild,
yeah.
and there
yeah.
is nothing happened to Guild after that.
And we know guilds are, we know, there is data that shows guilds increase engagement for new players and increase
Yeah.
retention of new, which is our current priority.
Yes,
So
but we
logic
haven't
would be
done it.
time to do something with guilds
Yeah,
somehow.
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
Somehow. Yeah.
I mean, okay, so going back to the survival stuff, and this goes back to the beginning of our conversation. I think Matt needs to plug in to the game and engage. And I think about, we heap a lot of praise on Dave here, and I think Dave, justifiably so, he earns a lot of that praise. He is not a gamer, and he'll be the first to tell you that. But
Mhm.
what Dave lacks in the gamemanship, he makes up for in conversations with you, with me, with Jimmy, with a whole bunch of other gamers, and
With everybody.
he
He
stays.
spent the
Yes,
same amount of time with me as the same amount of time with a person that he first came into Discord.
100%. So Dave
Yes.
keeps his ear to the ground on absolutely everything. If there's an issue with
Yes.
the gameplay, Dave is one of the first guys to know about it. And
Mhm.
and I feel like that is
That is
Matt's
valuable.
responsibility. I think
Yeah.
Matt has to plug back in.
Yeah.
Either that or he needs to delegate those decision-making
No,
responsibilities off.
look,
Yeah,
One
I
of the
was
I
going
two.
to
will.
say that too. Yeah, someone
I
delegated. Yeah.
Yes, yes. But again, here it is. I'm again going to give Matt a little bit of benefit of doubt. So I had a meeting with Matt and me and several other people's last month. And Matt clearly said to us that, although I'm an introvert, it doesn't, you may feel like, I do not want to talk to you, but that is not the case. You are welcome to come and talk to me anytime you want. My door is open. So Matt did tell us that he is open for a meeting, suggestion, any of it, one-on-one, in a meeting, on a video chat, whatever it is. So he did say that he is open, and he actually made himself available. So,
Well, I mean that's great, and I don't want this to come across as us bagging on Matt. I think Matt he's done a lot of good for the game. I think had Matt not stepped in and taken over the company, it's pretty much common knowledge Splinterlands would no longer be here today.
yes,
If we had continued down the path that Agrod was taking us, we would have
We'd have been
long ago
bankrupt.
would have had to close up shop and turn off the lights.
absolutely, no doubt.
And Matt is a brilliant mind.
Mhm.
I would like to see him engage a little bit more regularly, and if he doesn't, this probably comes back to the focus group conversation. Matt should
Yeah,
be
that is what I'm
employing.
saying.
Yes, Matt should be employing and delegating those responsibilities to at least 10 folks in the community. Keep your ear to the ground and report back to me what you are hearing, and let's make a
Well, I
decision
mean, we
on
got that.
behalf
We
of the
got
group.
that. We just pointed that out. That's Dave. He's
Yeah.
already looked in by default, and he has been
This
for
is yes,
7 years.
right, and it is no issue, no brainer, and I know Dave for a long time. If I say this idea of MCM and TCM, he would jump all over it, and he will have no problem organizing it. That is easy. So it's having a conversation. I don't think that is difficult. The difficult part would be executing it, right? Because we can talk a lot, but we may not get anything done. And that is always the issue. Because remember, everything said and done, we have very limited number of people. We are trying to get, on the DAO side, for example, Clay does probably work for 3 people at the same time, but oftentimes we still have difficulty executing things. Like, for example, this bridge and this base bridge that about this, how to get money easily into the game. We have been trying to do this for months, right? And we still haven't done it, and we are working on it. I know we are working on it. We are very close, but we haven't finished it, and there are various reasons for it. But it is easy to say something, but it's a completely different thing to execute it.
Well, AZ, so I think why I chose to start off with that conversation is probably, maybe I subconsciously connected the dots, but we saw something like the UX updates roll out. Nobody asked for that. And
Yes.
the vast majority of feedback was shitting all over it. It's not good.
Yes,
It's
I did
just
not like it.
plain and simple. It's a step backwards. So
Yes.
when we're seeing stuff and I have to imagine that involves significant dev time to update the UX and
Yeah.
make a new page and blah blah blah. So we're seeing these things that nobody is asking for, nobody is complaining about, while there are other very meaningful developments that could be taking place that are probably equal in a dev lift
Time. Yes.
sitting on the sidelines. So
Yes.
it's this, it's this dichotomy there that's
This
we're
is a
getting things delivered that
conversation.
nobody's asking for,
Yeah.
while there are very meaningful things sitting
I
on the
agree.
sidelines not being touched. That's
I
why
agree.
it's frustrating.
This is definitely a conversation for Dave, and you can just tell him directly. I will tell him directly. I'm telling him directly, publicly on the show that as a gamer, you land on your ranked battle page. You should be able to see your previous ranked battle. That's the way it has been, and that is a very valuable information. I do not want to be able to click another button to see my previous battle. It's as simple as that. Don't
There's like
fix
four-
something. Don't fix something that doesn't require any fixing.
If it ain't broke, fix it.
Yes.
That's
That was not necessary. That UX uplift, it's a massive down draw. And if that required, I do not know. Maybe it did not take any dev time. I do not know. Maybe it did
Not
not take at all. Maybe it is
impossible.
just a page.
Impossible to take dead time.
Yeah. I
Impossible.
mean,
I also
I do
want to
not want
say
to speculate. I do not want
I
to
also,
speculate, but
we're
that was
also
unnecessary.
we also can't put too much on Dave because he's not CEO. He went in as
No,
COO. Only so much
no,
that one guy can do, and he's stepping
no.
into an existing structure. You can't just expect one guy to go in there and change everything overnight.
Okay,
He's
so
got
here it is. I do not know who made that call. As of
yeah.
since it is UX, it got to be Nate. So this is Nate's hand, and this is Dave's hand. This is what I would do. This is what I would do. Okay. So that's my, and when you actually, and since this is a podcast, nobody saw what I actually did, but the point is, okay, yes,
Smack the greatest smack
yeah.
ever in cinematic history. Weird
Yeah,
science. If
so that was stupid. That was unnecessary. You don't do that stuff. You don't do that. You used to be able to do it back in the days, but you don't do that stuff anymore. So fix yourself. Otherwise, we are wasting time.
yeah. I'd also like to point out a fun fact. Well, before we get too far away from it, Dave not being a gamer but having his ear to the ground and working with everybody. One of the most successful business stories in history, back in the day, Leo Fender, Fender and musical instruments. Leo Fender did not play a lick. He couldn't play guitar. He didn't play anything. Yet he worked with musicians. He listened to musicians. He was directly involved. He listened to what they had to say. And as a result, developed some of the most incredible instruments of all, and literally iconic and incredible instruments and amplifiers of all time. Not by being a musician, but by listening to what they told him and saying, this is what we want. This is what we need. He didn't tell them what they wanted. They told him.
Yeah, exactly. And there are
And we're still
numerous examples in the sports, coaching. For example, there are a lot of famous swim coaches. They're not great swimmers. Some of them, they haven't done long distance swimming, but they coach people to cross English Channel. So it's a
Mhm.
different thing. It's a different skill set. You do not have to
You
be a
can't
great
do, teach.
swimmer.
If you
Can
can't
you
do,
teach?
teach. And if you can't teach,
Teach
teach
Jim.
Jim. There you go. Bam.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay. So I feel like the first hour of what we've been talking through has been, it's going to come across as largely harping. And I think it's justifiable. I think we've heaped a lot of praise on the team over the last couple of months. I just noticed a pretty distinct shift in my excitement towards end of season. Usually it's like, oh, I've got 36 hours. I should grind a little bit more. Yesterday, I opened up Splinterlands. Oh shit, season ends today. I had no idea. I guess I should turn on my bot for survival. And that was as much thought as I gave to end of season. And that just kind of made me realize we're at a point where, we're number one focus is bringing in new players. And obviously a close number two is retaining those new players. How do we keep retention up? How do we continue to keep folks engaged? And if folks, not saying I'm the exemplary Splinterlands player, but if folks like me are starting to feel like things are getting a little bit stale or stagnant, or we need that injection of something fresh, we probably need that injection of something fresh. I think something needs to be there.
I will also say, we have our weekly Team Possible chats. Again, anyone's welcome to come on by. We do it every Sunday. Azircon, you dropped by the other day. We've seen some other people, names we all know, coming in. It's been great seeing more people in there. Only rule is don't be a dick. That's all we ask. It's pretty simple. But Dave was saying, he can't say, he can't, he keeps with the rules there, but he's saying there's a lot of stuff that's about to drop. He couldn't tell us what it was, but he's like, man, he's really excited that a lot of new things are actually coming and coming soon. So I think part of it is we don't get the monthly town halls or we only get monthly town halls. So we're not really, all this time goes by and it feels like nothing's going on, when I believe Dave, you know, so when he says, you know, stuff's coming, I can't say anything, I can't tell you what it is, but there is a lot of stuff that I'm excited about right around the corner. So just
Yes. And again,
hang.
I am a big supporter of Dave. I have publicly said that in the past. I publicly say this again. Dave knows this. You know, I trust him. And when he says there is stuff coming in the pipeline, I believe there is stuff coming in the pipeline. And that is never an issue of mine. My issue is, you know, how quickly, right? So, and
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
is the same issue that Dave has as well. You know, Dave
I
always
think that's
says
up
we
to
are too
everyone,
slow.
everyone to push. Yeah, because
Yes.
he's doing what he can. We also, it's our responsibility to do what we can.
Yes.
We got to speak up. You got to speak
Yeah.
up and say that moving too slow. And again, what we just pointed out with like wasting time on not only an unnecessary change, but an unwelcome change. We got that has to stop.
Yeah.
That just has to stop. We're the Dow, damn it. We have
Yes,
a little
we
bit
are.
to say. I got 2
Yeah.
million estimates worth to say between all of
Nothing
us.
wrong with
What-
that.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
It's,
think, you know, so let's, the things that we do know about that are coming are massive, right? So we've got conflicts officially kicking off this week. Foundation mode is meant to be kicking off, or basic mode is meant to be
Is that
kicking off
public?
this week.
That's not
I
public.
think that has been during the influencer town hall. I think Dave and Blaze officially acknowledged that it is called basic mode.
Oh, don't get me started on that, man.
It's a very meme
Creative.
worthy name. I think there will be
Maybe we could
some
lean
fun
into
pokes.
that. Lean into the fun of it because it's not you know, come play basic mode. That's just so exciting right out of the gate. Let's lean into it. There's got to be a way to lean into that and make it fun and exciting. There's
I
got to
mean,
be.
there is some big stuff, but you know, to your point, Jimmy, is at the end of the day, Dave is he's just one guy, and he has been inserted. You know, despite Dave being here for since pretty much the very beginning, he has relationships with a lot of the existing team members. He's got tenured relationships with a lot of the, you know, bigger community members as well as a lot of the newer faces. Dave was inserted into a pre-existing business culture, which, you know, from personal experience, is one of the most difficult things to change. And
yeah.
you know, when you reflect back, Dave has been on the team as COO for 4 months. The first two of which were dedicated, and justifiably so, were dedicated to nothing but Conclave Arcana. And that was the right choice. That had to be the only choice. You know, of course, there were ulterior things going on that Dave had to you know, intermittently address, but ultimately his goal was launching CA. So the reality
And the
is
results of that involvement were fantastic too. We saw
yes,
tangible, positive results right out of the gate.
yes,
Right.
but my point is that Dave has really had less than 2 months on the other side of Conclave Arcana's launch to really start to change that business culture of how do we approach, how do we deliver, how do we you know, what does that feedback cycle look like? How do we implement that feedback into our output? And it's gonna take some time for that stuff to catch up to how Dave, you know, Dave runs a tight ship, and he has big expectations of, if you say you're delivering on Friday, you sure as shit better deliver on Friday, or we're gonna have a bigger conversation. And I think that is just such a different way of doing things than we've seen in the past. It's going to take some time for the company, the company culture to catch up to that.
Mm-hmm. And it's all good. It's all good. And you know, again, it is in a way, since we all mentioned that we are part of the DAO, so it is our job too to help Dave out. And we try to do that to the best of our ability. Sometimes, you know, if we all try to do it in our own way, it becomes chaos and it is hard for him to handle. But, you know, the intent is there. And, you know, whatever little we can, we should try and help him. And that would be my request to the community. Even if it takes a little bit of your time, maybe it takes a little bit of the effort, but do reach out and try to help as much as you can. Reach out to Dave, help him. That is all I'm going to ask.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Let's look at the let's talk about something fun. So
Okay.
we got the official
baby.
entrance of Lil Hogger. Lil Hogger,
Okay.
the
Yeah.
name of Xerx,
Yeah, I saw that.
coming in about a month, officially getting kicked off tomorrow with conflicts. What's your, I know you want the biggest, baddest on the block, AZ. Is this guy up to snuff in your
It's
mind?
it's it's okay. It is okay. I mean, I am. This is no Venka, but it is not like a pushover either. It's a strong card. It's a strong card. It is dual attack, and it has execute. It has bloodlust. I like the card. I already, the fact that I like the card because I remember all the stats already. If it is a pushover card, I do not even spend time looking at it. So I typically won't be able to tell you the stats. The fact that I can tell the stats without playing, that means I like the card. So yes, yeah, I am happy with it. I do not know how it will perform. Yes, of course. Um, it's Nidhogger, but we need to get a lot of high mana battle. And if we get a lot of like 12, 15 mana battle, this is not going to fly. So somebody got to go back and check the RNG and tweak it so that it is tilted. The number of battle is tilted towards high mana battle. Now we have a lot of high mana cards, right?
No, I think we're not getting enough. I've been trying to test some stuff out, and not getting the numbers I need to do it a lot of times. I feel like I'm seeing a lot of low mana stuff. Oh, which also brings me to the point. I would love to see practice mode get a little nudge in the right direction. I go to practice, and again, you're at the whim of RNG, giving you a rule set or a mana cap that you can.
Yeah, you should be able to choose what you want to practice, or at least some
Yeah.
control of it.
Yeah, just make it exactly like the challenge mode interface.
Yes,
Bam.
yes.
I would agree.
Yeah, that should be easy.
And that would be fun. Let's bring some more fun. That's
Yeah.
fun stuff right there.
So AZ, you mentioned the mana cap. Have you noticed being faced with a lot of lower mana cap rule sets, and that's why you say this?
Yeah, I mean, I would. I mean, it's not that like I cannot remember that I got four in a row. Four in a row, low mana, like you were mentioning, but you play a lot more game than I do, so you just have a statistical chance of getting into some kind of a funk. I think with the number of cards that we have now, and the tilt towards higher mana, we should get more higher mana matches. I think that would be good.
Well, even from purely from a moving product perspective, it makes sense, right? You want to position your newest, shiniest product to shine. And
Yeah.
in order to do that, throughout the period of the first, call it 2 months after Xerx gets released, we should have an average mana cap of 35, 45 plus, where there's ample opportunity for this card to absolutely devastate and run the meta, which is ultimately going to lead to pack sales, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You
And this is one tweak. This tweak is probably one line of code
Yes.
that you.
Oh,
All
there we
right.
go. We're back after a little blip. During the since there, Azircon was just kicking my ass for not posting in what turns out to be close to 6 months at this point. I can't believe how fast time
Yeah.
is going
So
by.
how many times do I have to ask you that you got to post on Hive? It's not that you have nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
Your nickname is a text
X
wall.
wall.
Next wall.
So and it's shameful BJ, please do not cut this part because I want to talk about this. His name is Textual, and his last post is January 22, 2025. Right?
That's
What
insane.
kind of
Which was that?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was your
That's
Phil
bullshit.
Lesh post.
Was it
Oh
the
no,
oh
it
yeah,
was $2 packs. Phil Lesh
was it?
Yep.
No.
Response to
No,
the
it
case. Response to the case for CA pack prices at 4,000 DC. That was your
Oh
last
yeah,
post.
that's right. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
last
Okay,
post. Yes.
and then Lash was before that monthly. Yeah, so I'm slacking. I got to get back in the habit. I enjoy writing.
Yes,
I have to.
and you enjoy writing, you write a lot of stuff, and you put it on Discord and it disappears,
It's
right?
gone.
It
Poof.
disappears. What I would do if I were you, the last time you had a controversial topic on Discord, which is not too long ago, not too long ago, it is never too long ago. You go back there and copy paste all of that into a Hive post and then edit it. Okay.
Okay,
That is
that's
the
a legit.
least you can do
Okay, I'll
because
start with that.
otherwise
Okay.
you are not doing justice to yourself. Like any kind of controversial things that I say or I do, I put it out there. Everything that I say, I put it out there, right? And you guys
Yeah,
should
yeah.
all do that, right? So
Yep. No,
that's the
thanks for the
important
nudge. I
part.
do need to get back into that. I was psyched when I was doing some of those other posts. I was kind of on a roll for like a week. I did a couple
Yes.
for then
Yeah.
then it gets
Yeah.
crazy. Gets
Yeah.
crazy over.
And
Yeah.
then you said you went to Sicily. So, we actually have at Hive, we have a community called World Mapping. You can go there and it's a website. You can actually pin where you went.
Ooh,
And
nice.
it stays like you fill up the world map with your pins, and your
Hmm.
posts are linked to those pins. And BJ posted a few doing that, and then he's slacking too. So,
Hey, I'm
and
I'm
if
at 3 weeks there, AZ. Come on now.
okay, all
That's
right, three
slacking.
weeks.
That's
It's
just
still
not quite
slacking.
as much. It's not as much slacking as me. I'm slacking
It
more
is
for
still slacking. It is still
yeah.
slacking. And
Ooh,
on top of that, if it is like if you are planning to write text walls, so remember, text walls are very welcome at Hive, right? We thrive on
perfect.
text wall, right?
Perfect.
So, you have the perfect platform for that. So when you are doing text wall, we actually have a community. The community is called Pretoria.
I
Okay.
might have to, yeah, and I might have to start a new hashtag text wall thing over
Yeah,
there too
well,
for
you
people.
have to subscribe first, and your buddy here, he is the admin for the
Did I
community.
not subscribe? Did I not subscribe
I
in Pretoria yet? I thought I
I
did.
have I don't know. I mean, you never
I can
definitely
tell
never
you.
posted there.
Yeah,
You
let me know.
definitely
Let me
never
see.
posted there.
No, I have
Nope.
not
So
posted.
I don't see
yeah,
I'm
Fat
not.
so
Jimmy listed here.
yep.
Okay. All right. So actually,
Okay,
so
so
let's tell everyone how to get here. So I just logged into Hive. I'm actually
yes.
looking at an old post. It's Brave Tofu's freaking amazing D&D figurine, Splinterland figurine post. I don't know
Yeah.
how that guy has learned to do AI the way he does. It's just
Yes.
freaking insane. Okay, so now where do I go to find this group here? So I'm going to
Okay, so I have a direct link for you. I'm copy pasting that in the chat. So the easiest way for you would be to click on that chat and then go straight there. Let's see if this
okay.
works.
What's it called?
So
What's the name of it there? Because
just
I'm
click
saying
on that
like
link.
okay. Well,
Click
I'm
on
saying
that
if
link.
someone's new, and they're
Yeah,
listening and
it's
they
called
want
Pretoria.
okay, Pretoria. Let me go. I'm going to
Yeah,
click the right there. Do,
yeah.
do,
If you
do.
click the link, it'll take you
Yep, there
straight
it is.
there.
Yeah, subscribe. Okay, I'm in.
Yeah. And you
Bam.
see there are some certain pinned post. There is a Brave Tofu post that is pinned. BJ's
I thought I
first
subscribed.
post.
I had looked at this a while when I first heard of it. It's fantastic. This is literally what it was designed to be. It's all the top quality Splinterlands posts. It's absolutely
Yes,
fantastic.
yes, yes.
Yeah,
So your
highly,
buddy is
highly
an admin. Your buddy is an admin, so you can do whatever there. If we have complete control.
recommend.
So
Nice.
So write as much text wall as you want. And
I think I will. I think I'm going to do a deep dive into the history of the fashion of mustaches and their evolution throughout Pretoria to see what was
yeah, you can
popular
do
one.
that too. You can do that
Yeah,
too. Nobody is stopping you. Nobody is
yeah.
stopping you to do that. So
Get
yeah,
a
so
few
that's
contacts,
the thing.
do a little archaeological research, and see what we can dig up.
So, BJ, we kind of switched gears, and we were supposed to switch gears anyway, because I always want to talk a little bit about Hive, and I'm glad we kind of went into that direction. So, one of the things that I always say, you know, right now, today, this moment, this is the best time to start making a post. Okay. So, whatever in your mind, write it up. And as opposed to doing a rant on Discord, do a rant on Hive, right? Rants are welcome. In fact, in Hive, there is also a community called Rant. Okay? There
No,
is a Rant community
really.
too. And I have posted there. Like, if you want to do a political rant, for example, go do that there. And that's 100% welcome, right?
It's always
So,
fun. Political
yeah.
rants are fun and exciting.
Yeah, if you want to do that, if you want to vent it, vent it. It is designed for that. So yeah, and you get paid for it.
Even better. Hey, bam.
Even better.
Even
Even
better.
better.
I still got to get my. I've been telling. I was telling my wife about it too because she's an artist and her work has evolved over time. I'm like, just start posting some art stuff there. I'm sure you'd be good at
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Gonna get her.
Jimmy, you should start posting like at least 2, 3 times a week. Okay. Make it a
Mhm.
habit. 2, 3 times a week, make it a habit. See Tofu does it really well. I started this thing, the thing that I'm telling you, I started telling to Tofu, like this is years ago, okay? And then
Mhm.
Tofu finally picked up, and now Tofu is quite regular. Tofu
Notch.
recently, not only the quality of his post, that we all know about it, but he recently bought nearly 100,000 hive.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Bam. Good
he's a
move
believer.
there.
He's a
Yep.
believer.
I'm a believer. What was that? The Monkeys
He,
or was that the Beatles? I believe that was the Monkeys.
The- yeah.
Dave, our
So
Jangles probably never heard of the Monkeys. Have you,
Oh,
Jangles?
I grew up
yeah,
on classic radio. Come on, man.
yeah,
Okay, okay,
yeah,
right
yeah,
on.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Of course, of course, of course, of course.
Uh, yeah, I do want to shout out the response to Community Pretoria. I feel like I have been I may not engage as much as I should. The last month has just been absolutely hectic, and on a personal note, and you guys saw that as we had to skip a couple of weeks for episodes. But every time I log into Community Pretoria, there is nothing but high quality, cool, unique stuff. So for those of you that have not as of yet checked it out, if I will include the direct link in the Peak D article. But for those of you that would prefer to seek it out on your own, if you just go into peakd.com, the search bar, and key in Pretoria, it will be top right as an option as a community, and you can click into it directly from there. We've got 50 plus subscribers here. There is currently 440 pending rewards, so it's active. It's at any given time there's I'm looking right now. There's one, two, three, four posts in the last 8 hours. So it might not be as regularly updated as something like Community Splinterlands, but I can guarantee you that you will read a lot of very unique perspectives and stories in Pretoria that you will never find in Community Splinterlands. So for everybody who has participated, thank you. And AZ and you and Zaku, I think this was kind of a collective brainchild. I'm very happy with what's come out of this. And one of the cool things that we have set up, we have not yet leveraged, is that you are required to make a 5% donation. So whatever rewards you earn for your posts in Pretoria, 5% goes to the community, which we will then at some point use as, whether it's CA packs or Hive or, you name it, the sky's the limit in terms of what kind of rewards can we ultimately turn that into and reward participants in the community. It's
Is that an
very
automatic
cool.
delegation? Automatic delegation? Do you have to do that
It is-
manually, or is it
No,
automatic?
nothing. You don't have to do anything. You
It
just
happens on its
post. It
Cool.
happens on its own. Nothing you got.
Perfect.
You don't even see it.
Yeah.
What an age we live in. Oh,
Yes.
yeah. This is that
Yeah.
blockchain stuff we were talking about before we
That's
hit record.
exactly right. That's
You
exactly
want to know
right.
what's happening. Don't even
Yes.
have to know what's happening.
Yes, absolutely. And no bank gives you 15% interest on your
I
cash.
know. I was looking at that HBD thing again, man. It's
And we
like,
do. We have done that for years now. We have done that for years now. We do. And I recommend you put some of your bank money there, and it'll stay there. It'll earn 15% interest. A significant amount of our DAO funds are in there, if you don't know. I think the number currently is about 180K. So
well,
180K of DAO's money. If I go to sps.dao account,
160,
um, 160.
162. Yep.
All right, there you go.
so
And
what's that? It's like
we have a very substantial
25,
claim
30
waiting,
grand a year.
$2,000.
Yeah, $2,000 claim for a month. For a month.
Bams. Yeah, no,
Yes.
that's like 25, 27 grand a year right there, man.
Yes.
Whew,
Yeah.
that's
I mean,
substantial.
which banks give you that? Nothing. No bank.
None. The answer is none. None
None.
more bank. None more banks.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, we suffered an unfortunate internet outage. I'm getting some residual storm stuff from the typhoon last week. It's still kind of rolling through bits and pieces of Taiwan, but yeah, I'm glad we shifted gears towards the Hive conversation. I think we ticked a lot of the boxes that we had kind of unofficially dubbed as items on the agenda. AZ, was there
Mm-hmm.
anything kind of outstanding you wanted to call out, discuss before
No,
we
I think
wrap
I
up?
think this is it. This is it. I think we covered everything. We covered most things on people's mind on Splinterland, and keep more things coming. I am very active on Discord, and I publish my thought fairly frequently. I've been doing a lot of plots and other data mining with Beaker lately, and you guys all know about that. A lot of that is land, some of that is game, and it's a mix. And I do it just for pure fun, and my goal is to help you guys out in one way or the other, and I hope I'm successful on that. Anything related to Hive, again, I am a large stakeholder there, and I can guide you in any shape or form. And Hive is quirky. There are different ways to get stuck, and you don't want to get stuck. You want to get excel. You want to excel. So follow my advice. Any kind of help I can provide, I'm happy to do that.
Well, on that note, and we had initially had something like an episode teed up a few weeks ago, and then life happened, and here we
Gonna
are
ask
today.
about that.
But
We got
yeah,
do that.
at some point in the not too distant future, hopefully in the next few weeks, once things kind of reestablish a routine, the three of us would like to do kind of a live stream a little bit more focused specifically on Hive, and engaging with Peaked and posting, and I'm sure we could dive into Community Pretoria and some successful accounts. What does successful Hive behavior look like? What is general, uh, how do you be a considerate and positive contributor on the Hive blockchain?
Yeah.
I would like to cover all of that stuff. So hopefully in the next month or so, we can arrange for some time to host said live stream.
And that could be a good thing, and we can very briefly do a preview of that as well. But on that, if we really do that episode, it would be a good idea to do it probably as a video, as a YouTube also.
We would do it
Like,
as a
I
live
mean,
stream. Oh yeah.
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 So,
And then you
so
can put
that,
on-
we can share screen, and, otherwise it is very difficult to explain everything like as an audio. So that's the main thing. But in terms of etiquette, in terms of behavior, I actually have a recent post out. You can send a link to that. Like when you actually make this post, what did I call it? It's a couple of posts ago. Understanding Hive. It's a very simple post. It's pictorial. It's just essentially bunch of bullets so that people understand it without getting into a lot of details. I'm sending you the
Can you
link
drop the
here.
link? Oh, there it
Yeah.
is. I was going to ask for that, and Jangles will put that in the show notes, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
you can do that. Basically, Jimmy, just like you said in the Team Possible chat, don't be a dick. That's
Mhm.
that is always the case. Same thing in Hive. The second most important thing that I say, consider this your journal. Don't try to earn money. Don't try to think about this as an ROI instrument. You write something, people will vote you, you are going to get money. This cycle is something that I call a cycle of entitlement. Do not go there. That is a sure shot way of failure. You write, you produce content. If you're a singer, when a singer first starts to sing a song, does he or she sings for a large audience in a big stadium, or they sing in their bathroom or their garage, or in their bed? You always do the first thing, the first original thing for yourself. If you write, you write for yourself. That is you think that is your only audience. If you have this attitude, you are going to be successful. So that is the attitude you should have. You should not write in Hive with any kind of expectation. The other thing is, Splinterland runs a lot of contents and things like that. Ignore it altogether. There is nothing to do there. There is one thing we need to do a large overhaul, but it's definitely not a priority. Uh, you don't need to participate in anything. You create your own thing. Whatever that is on your mind, you create that and you put it in writing. If it is a rant, a good rant is worth $50 in my mind.
That's pretty amazing right there. No, it's been fantastic advice. That's what you told me, to start writing about what you do, what you like to do. And I think the most, quote, successful post, if you look at it in Hive, is from the music stuff, which is stuff I like writing about,
Yeah, exactly.
I saw Silence dropped a post. This was a while ago. He wrote about a little vacation he tripped. He crossed the border and took a little vacation, wrote about it, and tons of people were voting on that, and reading
exactly.
it. People like to
Exactly.
read about everyday
Yeah.
things in different places.
Yeah. So, it's very simple and basic stuff. So, make yourself visible, make yourself known, network, learn other people. Everybody is interesting. Everybody has a story to tell. Jimmy, you are from wherever. Jangles is not from there, right? He lives in Taiwan, right? So, California and Taiwan is far ways away, right? Your everyday life is completely different. Our time zones are different. The neighborhood I walk today is different compared to yours. So there is always interesting things to talk about. Talk about
Yeah.
yourself. You are an interesting person. Everybody is. So that is the easiest thing to talk about.
Well, I think it's
That's
important to note that Hive is so much bigger than Splinterlands, and I think for
yes.
most Splinterlands players who, maybe very casually interact with Hive, it's difficult to realize that. However, if
Yes.
you log into peakd.com and you click the communities drop down, you'll see a community for absolutely everything: education, yoga, video games, gardening, photography, travel, cooking, birds. Like you name it. There's a community for you and
Yeah,
whatever
you were
your
doing the
hobby is.
photo. You were doing the
Yeah,
photo thing, weren't you?
I
I
did do the
remember.
photos for a little bit. Yeah.
Mhm.
So there's something for everybody. There's also stuff in different languages. If English is not your first language, um, yeah. I mean I think that's a very important thing that for folks who are maybe a little bit hesitant for writing. How do I write about Splinterlands outside of Splinterlands challenges or posts? Well, the easy answer is don't. Write about something that is easy and natural for you to write about, and then find the community where it's most appropriate to post. So just have a look around. I mean, you could scroll for pages and pages and pages, and there's a million different communities. So there's going to be something there for you.
Yeah, very good advice. And we can expand on it like when we do the live stream together. So that's a good preamble for that.
Sweet. All right.
Looking
Well,
forward to it.
yeah, go ahead.
So Noah, I will say, Noah, I don't always wear this, just so you know. Noah noticed that I'm wearing my Splinterlands battle helmet, which is a
I
spike.
have. I
Yep,
have. I did
okay.
not make a comment.
Yeah, that's just Noah. That's just Jimmy. He's wearing a spiked iron hat, like always.
Yeah, just Jimmy. That's all
2
old
hours.
text wall. Old
Spiked
text
iron hat.
wall.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
Yeah. By the way, I am going to log into PeakD and give your username a special tag in Community Praetoria, Jimmy. So
Yeah.
next time you log in,
nice.
you'll see something
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, we've got a town hall here in the next couple of days. I'm
Ooh.
expecting some, some of what Dave alluded to in the last Team Possible meeting. I was not there, but I can imagine it's things like foundation and other stuff that I know that has been a long time coming that I'm expecting to hear a little bit more light get shed upon in the upcoming town hall here in the next couple of days. But we will be back. There is still plans of getting Tyler, the UX guy, on at some point in the not too distant future. And yeah. All right. Everybody, we
All right.
appreciate you guys tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. You have been listening to
The
People's Guild.
People's Gift.
Welcome to the People's Guild.
Splinterlands. Praetoria.
For guests all across the mythical land of Praetoria, tune in.
Come in.
Welcome to the People's Guild. Another week, another guest.
Praetoria. Praetoria. Tune in. Come in.
Welcome to the People's Guild. Another week, another guest.